Today we're going to take a look at two really cheap, fully licensed RC cars. This one is the MN82 and this one is the Trassped. I don't really know what this thing is called. The 450, I think it is. I wish they'd give these things proper names. So this MN Models one is based on the Toyota LC79 and this one is the FJ40. Now both of these cars are really cheap at the moment. You can pick these up for around £50. I'll actually stick the exact prices on the screen now, and we all love cheap RC cars as long as they perform well. Both of these companies state that these cars are fully licensed, but I can't confirm that. Now let's talk about MN Models because I've had a lot of their cars in the past. Some of them are very good and some of them are absolutely terrible. I have to admit I've never heard of Trassped or Trassped, whatever it's called, so I've no idea how that thing's going to perform. So of course today we're going to take a closer look at what you get in the box with both of these cars, and then we're going to give them a run. And I really hope at least one of these is really good, because for the price I think you do get a lot for the money. So in the box with the MN82, of course you get the truck itself. Now if you look, I've had to put on all of the exterior details like the snorkel, the door handles and some of the other accessories, and sometimes I think that's a bit long-winded because I like to get an RC car out the box, charge the battery and go. Now I know some people will disagree because they like to give their trucks their personal touch, but for me I just wish everything was pre-fitted out the box. Here we have the typical MN style transmitter. You do get a foam grip on the wheel. It looks like we've got a steering trim adjustment, a throttle dual rate and a light switch. Not a massive fan of this. It doesn't feel great and it does feel kind of cheap. But if you like driving one-handed, MN Models have got you covered. I'm not sure what this is about at the top. Now this does take two AA batteries to get you up and running. Here we have a very basic instruction manual, but it does explain where to put all the trim features. Here we have a typical cheap RC car USB charger, and this one comes with a 500 milliamp hour 2S lithium ion, and hopefully this gives us decent runtime. We've also got some optional decals. I'm not going to be fitting those because I think the truck looks pretty cool straight out the box. So back to the truck then. Now of course, like I said earlier, this thing does have a hard body, and they also state this is 1/12 scale, but I think it's a bit smaller than that. Looking at it, I would say it's probably closer to 1/16 scale, maybe 1/14 scale. We've got some really nice chrome details up at the front there. This also has working LED lights. On the back, this door opens up. The tyres feel really plasticky on this. Suspension wise, yeah, not great. Now suspension wise, this does have friction shocks all round, but it also features leaf springs. I would have said the leaf spring suspension would have been enough, but maybe there's a reason they've done that. Under here we have our plastic drive shafts, plastic axles, of course we've got a plastic chassis, there we have our on and off switch, we've also got plastic links, and up at the front it looks like we've got an axle mounted 3-wire steering servo. I've just realised I think I've forgotten some of the trim bits there. I'll add those on before I give this a run. That's pretty cool. If you look inside, it does look like we've got a full interior. Now I haven't got a driver to go inside, unfortunately. I'm not the biggest crawler fan, as you can probably tell from my videos, so we're going to give this a run without a driver. So moving on, let's take a look at the FJ40. Of course we've got the truck itself, and once again this does have a hard body. Here we have the transmitter. Now this thing does look a little bit nicer than the one you get with the MN Models. We've got a foam grip on the wheel. It looks like we've got some dip switches there. I'm not sure what they do. We've also got A, B, C and D buttons. I think they're going to control the LED lights, and I think this has sound. And of course we've got our steering trim and throttle trim. This one takes 4 AAA batteries. Here we have our 600 milliamp hour 2S lithium ion pack, and I think this just slots into the back of the car. Here we have a USB-C cable, a colour manual. It looks like we've also got some decals in there. This looks like a full-size spare, which I'm going to fit onto the back, and a front bumper. Finally we have a parts bag, and in here we have some Allen keys, a cross wrench and a screwdriver. So before I give this a run, of course I'm going to fit the spare onto the back and some of the decals. Now I don't expect this to perform miracles because it is really small, but it still looks like a lot of fun. So underneath, of course, everything is pretty much plastic once again, including the axles and the drive shafts, the 4-link suspension and the chassis. Everything is plastic, but taking a closer look, it does look like we've got metal chassis rails. Now this one looks like it's got a chassis mounted servo. Now the rubber on the tyres actually feels nice and soft. Let's have a look at the suspension on this one. Yeah, not great. Now we can open the rear doors on this one, and if you have have a look on the left there, that is where our battery goes. Now I'm going to give both of these a test. I do need to add on some extra details on this one and on this one, so I'll be back shortly. Now don't forget, if you want to check out the full spec of both of these cars, I will leave a link down below. Under the bonnet we have a decent amount of space for the battery, so let's power on the MN82. There we have the LED lights, they look pretty cool. Let's see what the steering servo is like. That's actually pretty quick. So that's low speed at the moment, that's full throttle. Let's switch it up to high speed. Well, that's actually a lot quicker. Now this actually looks pretty cool. I've got it in low speed once again. Low speed modulation isn't bad, although it's not the best. But again, this is a £50 RC car and you're not going to be doing anything too crazy with this. There's not going to be any crazy crawling. This is probably going to be better suited to your favourite trail. Yeah, those wheels don't grip very well at all. Oh, it's stuck again. It's just not the most capable of trucks. Let's see if we can get down here. This could be a little bit challenging for a truck like this. Yep, stuck again. Let's take it slowly, try and work our way down. Not too bad. So what I will say is it's certainly not the worst truck I've ever tested, or the worst MN models. It's not the most capable, but again, this thing is super cheap. Let's try and get through this puddle. So that was the MN82, certainly not the best trail truck I've ever tested, but for the price, it's not too bad. So next up, let's see how the FJ40 performs. Let's have a look at the LED lights first. Not too bad. Now this has also got some sound effects. Let's start the engine. And we're ready to go. That's pretty cool. This does have turn signals. So it looks like that is the top speed. The sound effects are really cool. Can this handle some very mild off-road? Oh, stuck straight away. So let's see how we do on this. Not too bad. Right, let's give it a go over here. Let's see if it can handle a little bit more dirt. Obviously this is a tiny little truck, so I don't expect it to be mega capable. So there we go then guys, that was two really cheap, fully licensed Toyota RC cars. Now if you're looking for some cheap fun with the kids, these may be a great option, but if you're just starting out in the hobby and you're looking for your first RC car, I think I would look at something different. It really depends what you're into, but if you're into mini crawlers, there are so many good options out there for around the same price. And if you want to check out two really cool alternatives, click one of these videos now.